Hi there, it's Cheryl Truesdale, and I'm thrilled that you're here with me for this episode of Cheryl Shares TV, your station for inspiration. Now today, I want to talk about something that's a little ouchy, literally. What is it about feeling jealous that cuts so deep? Now, I don't know about you, but I remember feeling jealous feelings that just were miserable mentally, emotionally, and the physical side effects sucked too. So, have you ever felt the fear of losing a romantic partner or other important person to another person? Have you ever felt the fear of loss and abandonment because of perceived or even potential betrayal? I remember feeling all kinds of horrible emotions because of my jealousy. Humiliation, for one, suspicion, anguish, distrust, and even rage. All of them not so fun. So, if attacks of the green-eyed monster have left you feeling mentally, physically, and emotionally thrashed, then stay tuned, my friend, because help is on its way. In this video, I will show you how to slay the green-eyed monster. So I was recently reminded of all the jealousy I used to suffer from during a conversation I was having with a woman who was asking me for help with her own jealousy. Now, her situation is a perfect example of the tragedy of irrational jealousy. You see, she believes she's married to a really good man, and he's not ever given her any reason to feel jealous. She just can't shake the damaging effects of past betrayals. Ever been there? I sure have. So in order to give her advice, I reflected back to when I was struggling with irrational jealousy. And after our conversation, I went ahead and wrote down the advice I gave her because I thought it was pretty good, and I turned it into this 4-step process for slaying a green-eyed monster. Basically, what I learned from my experience with irrational jealousy is it's an inside problem, meaning the reason I was feeling so jealous was being perpetuated by me. My irrational jealousy was caused because I was resisting taking the look inside and dealing with the difficult emotions that resided there. It was way too easy for me to project those insecure feelings onto another situation or another person, basically saying, well, I'm feeling this way because of some perceived threat, rather than I'm feeling this way because of my own inner conflict. I was making my jealous feelings someone else's problems rather than doing the hard work of facing them and dealing with them internally. So slaying the green-eyed monster meant I was gonna have to get real, and I was gonna have to quit projecting my painful emotions onto others. So rather than let jealousy infect my relationships, I used its appearance as a reason to work on myself and find out what was driving the jealousy. So now I'm going to share what I learned with you about slaying the green-eyed monster through my 4-step process. Step number 1, practice recognizing the emotion of jealousy. Recognition of its occurrence is your number 1 self-defense. So here's what I mean by recognizing the emotion of jealousy. Because jealousy is made up basically of 2 emotions. You have fear and you have anger, and you can even feel both of them at the same time. And here's a tip for you to help be able to tell which one is which. Pay attention to your body. So fear usually shows up kind of as a drooping, sinking, clutching feeling, sick feeling in your stomach. Whereas anger shows up more as a burning, tight, hot feeling in your shoulders or maybe in your jaw. So once you're able to notice these bodily functions and you realize, hey, I'm feeling jealous, now it's time to change your thinking by questioning your jealousy. So once you realize that, hey, I got jealousy going on here, now you can move on to step 2. Step number 2, confront your feelings immediately instead of avoiding them or denying them. You need to learn to question your jealousy as soon as it emerges, and you can do it by asking these questions. Is this jealousy because I'm feeling afraid or because I'm feeling angry? By asking yourself these questions as soon as your jealousy appears, you're taking a great first step toward managing the emotions constructively without that cloud of negative emotion that usually accompanies jealousy. And then you can dig a little bit deeper if you want to by asking, well, why am I feeling jealous over this? Or what is making me feel jealous? Or what is it that I'm trying to hold on to or keep? Or why am I feeling threatened by this? Yeah, I know. Asking these questions puts you in a bit of a vulnerable position. Yeah, and vulnerability kind of feels sucky, but so does jealousy. But by confronting your jealousy, you can heal that internal damage, which is going to make your relationships stronger and more connected. Step number 3, carefully evaluate any false beliefs that might be fueling your jealousy. See, often there are false, unfounded beliefs that underlie reactions of jealousy. And just by examining the belief, you can many times reduce the jealousy. And here's some examples of commonly held underlying false beliefs. Oh, I remember this one. I'm just not good enough for them. Or, if they leave me, I just won't be able to cope. Or, I'll never find anyone and be all alone. Please. I definitely knew that I would never be all alone. You know you're not going to be all alone. We know we're going to be able to cope, and we are definitely good enough for anybody on this planet. And by learning to detect the thoughts and the things that are triggering those thoughts are a great first step towards solving the problem. So, now that you're bravely facing the truth about irrational jealousy, that it is an internal problem, you have positioned yourself now to begin making changes to your jealous behaviors. And a great way to change jealous behaviors is to begin talking openly about them. And that's what step 4 is all about. Step number 4, communicate your feelings by talking about your jealousy problem together. By talking through your true feelings, you create an ally, someone who can be there to help support you as you're dealing with your internal conflict. Now, I like to look at it this way. By speaking it out, I put it out into the light. Yeah, it might be difficult to speak it out the first time, but talking about it after that gets easier and easier, and pretty soon, before you know it, those jealous feelings just begin to fade away. Now, let me give you a couple of tips here. I want you to be compassionate, and I want you to be passionate. I want you to be compassionate towards yourself while you're working through this process. And I want you to be passionate about improving feelings so that you can outgrow jealousy. And every time that green-eyed monster rears its ugly head, I want you to speak it out every time. So there you have it, how to slay the green-eyed monster. Okay, it is a bit of a process, but I promise once you master it, the peace and contentment you feel will make it worth every ounce of your effort. I am so glad that I took the time to deal with that inner conflict that was causing so much pain. And you too can be free to the green-eyed monster. And I'd love to hear about your experience using this 4-step process. And you can tell me all about it by leaving a comment under the video over at CherylTruesdale.com. So, do you feel inspired now? If so, would you like to inspire someone? Someone you know who could use a little love, hope, and inspiration to brighten their day? Got someone in mind? Then all you need to do to make a difference in their life right now is simply share this video with them. I am honored that you joined me for this episode of Cheryl Shares TV. And to make sure you get your regular dose of inspiration, just head on over to CherylTruesdale.com and sign up for email updates. That way you'll never miss an episode. And remember, you are amazing. You do matter. And you most certainly do deserve to live a happy life that you love. I'll see you soon, my friend. Bye.